discrimination and inequality in football is quite undercover. It's not there on the surface, so it's not out there. But I've been playing for 20 years, so as an amateur player, so you experience stuff all the time, maybe mostly like homophobic bits and bobs, but there's quite a lot of sexism that happens in the game. I think things like get back in the kitchen are really kind of seen, or comments that are made on pitch side are seen as something that maybe aren't a big deal, or it's not that you know, you get over it. But for me, I see it in the same light as homophobic abuse, because what it's suggesting is that as a woman I don't deserve to be there. I was born in 1990, and in those days, like, women's football just was non-existent. Throughout like my early years, I'd go to camps, I'd be the only girl there. They'd always say, "You sure she wants to come? Because she'll be the only girl here." And there'd be like 30 lads and me on my own. But I absolutely loved it. There was no pulling me away from it. And I think that's the big thing about women's football, or I think that's the big thing about football in general, is that if there's no safe space for you when you're a little girl, or when you're wanting to come out the closet, and you don't see or representation in that community, it's not something you want to enter. So I built up some skill and understanding of football, fell in love with it, and then I moved to Manchester and launched Manchester Laces last year. And it's been the best, most fulfilling thing ever. We have a massive community, there's like 300 of us, and it's just the most fun. I think there's a really big gap in amateur football, specifically for women, around inclusivity and inclusive spaces. In fact, we were the first inclusive women's club to launch in Manchester. We weren't there, or we weren't in place for women and non-binary people. There was nothing here for women and non-binary people, so we just felt like it was something that was really needed. And obviously it was needed because it grew so exponentially and so quickly. I think that people underestimate women's football and the power of it. And also the speed in which women's football is improving because of all of the infrastructure bits that are being put in place is just incredible. You've got to remember that in 2015, when we went to the World Cup, Karen Bardsley was just told to stand between the sticks and like hopefully save the ball, try and save the ball. Now they have goalkeeping coaches, and like that doesn't seem like a crazy thing in men's football, but in women's football that's a big deal. Like, they have goalkeeping coaches, they have people in place and structures in place to improve the game.